Hi, I'm Dick McClain. Thanks for reading our April e-newsletter and for giving me a few minutes to speak with you today. Over the past few days, I've been thinking a lot about the importance of a sustained ministry that's not hit and miss, in and out, here today, gone tomorrow, but that's faithful and steady and enduring over the long haul. What's made me think about this was the passing of one of our treasured colleagues, a veteran missionary with 35 years of ministry in Japan, 22 of those as a member of the Mission Society. I'm speaking about Mari Hicks, who went to be with the Lord on March the 22nd. I had the high privilege of delivering the eulogy at the celebration of her life that was held at their home church in Eaton Rapids, Michigan on March the 28th. Mari was the daughter of an esteemed Methodist pastor in Japan. Though she had known Christ from her childhood, it was as a young adult that she responded to the claims of Christ on her life and gave her heart without reservation to following Jesus and to serving Him. Several years after she married a young American airman, it was through the witness of her father that Mary's husband, Neil, came to know Christ and was profoundly transformed. Through a set of providential circumstances, God led Mary and Neil into full-time Christian service and then ultimately into missionary service back in Mary's home country of Japan. That ministry began back in 1977 and, with the exception of a few years of study in the States, has continued in Japan up until this day. Over the past year, Mary fought a heroic battle against cancer. 7 days ago from the time I'm taping this message, she slipped from this life into the arms of Jesus. It was a marvelous thing to remember and to celebrate the life of this quiet and gentle but really amazing woman of God. In my message, I shared Paul's words from 2 Timothy 4:6-8, where he says this, "For I am already being poured out like a drink offering, and the time for my departure is near. I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, and not only to me, but also to all who have longed for His appearing." I reminded the family and friends who had gathered for Mary's homegoing celebration that the race itself is not a sprint, but a marathon. Now, I'm afraid we Americans prefer sprints to marathons. We like quick fixes, instant paybacks, immediate results. I wonder if, at times, if there's a bit of that fueling the modern short-term mission phenomenon. Now, please don't misunderstand me. I praise God for the hundreds of thousands of Americans who travel to the farthest reaches every year for a week or two to build a church or paint a school, to lead a VBS, or to conduct an evangelistic crusade, to minister to the poor, to help a missionary, or to, in countless other ways, bear personal witness to the love of Christ for the whole world. But what strikes me is that that's not a substitute for the kind of sustained service over the decades that Mary's life displayed. You see, places like Japan aren't going to be transformed overnight. The people of Japan ultimately will not be drawn to Jesus by the witness of people who are here today and gone tomorrow. It will be the faithful service of people like Mary, who gave decade after decade of her life to sharing the good news of Jesus with her beloved Japanese people, that will ultimately carry the day. A precious brother from Japan flew all the way to Michigan this week just to share a personal word regarding the role that Mary and Neil had played in his life and the life of his family. He testified that his grandmother, his mother, he and his wife, and his children were all in the church and following Jesus because of the sustained, enduring, faithful witness of Mary and Neil. He had flown all the way to the States to honor her and to thank the people who had gathered at the celebration of her life for the role they had played in sending her and Neil and their kids to Japan. Well, Mari Hicks has finished her race. She's now in the presence of Jesus, awaiting that day when the victor's crowns will be distributed not only to her, but to all who, like she, have run the race and have longed for His appearing. But for now, you and I are still in the race. And I'm reminded today that though there will be moments when Jesus prods us to pick up the pace and to sprint to some point not very far along the course, at the end of the day, it's a marathon to which He has called us. May God help us all to have the same kind of steadfast, enduring spirit that so characterized Mari Hicks.